I don't need music theory. I got Ableton. Have you heard this guy's music before, allowing him to enter your mind with his 17 chat GPT things? It doesn't matter what his music sounds like. I just listen to what he's saying and then form my own opinion based off of it. Want to become a YouTuber now? No, you don't. No, you don't. Trust me. Make music people hate. So we got Walmart Venus Theory here.
At the time of pressing record on this video, about to turn 37 years old, and that means that I've been studying, playing, or learning about music in some capacity for nearly 30 years. And for the last 10 years or so, I've been recording, producing, and releasing my own music as a solo artist.
Honestly, in some ways, I kind of like some of this guy's stuff better than Venus Theory, because Venus Theory gets a little too like philosophical and abstract for it to like actually have any tangible meaning, you know?
My name. And if I had to go back a couple of decades and give young me some advice, here's the things that I learn to play something, aka don't quit piano. I didn't quit piano, and I'm really thankful for that, but there were a ton.
Bro, you know what's crazy? There's another dude on the side here, Dark Label Music. I'm 37 if you're a music producer in your 20s. Like, they're doing, like, the same fucking video 2 weeks ago, both of them. Why? Has BD been sorted out? No, he's extorting me.
Down your ideas.
True.
Or at the very least, record them. Hit record.
Bro, nobody is fucking notating their ideas. Just say record your ideas. Why are you doing this pretentious shit where you're fucking writing in notes?
Some MIDI roll so that you have something to experiment with. Writing, whether it's writing words like scripting this video, for example, or writing music, is a kind of self-editing process. Like, the more you have to think through your ideas and commit them to some physical form, the more refined they become. That doesn't mean that it has to be perfect when you write it down. Just write down a first draft, then you can start to edit and develop it from there. Give yourself assignments. Don't wait for someone else.
Yeah, notation is proper, but no one is doing that. Almost no one is doing that.
This shift in thinking is what has built my career to this point, because I started learning how to make music with computers in the first place to get into film scoring. And I thought to do film scoring, I had to go out and network with directors and create the things that they wanted to hear, even though I did.
Bro, he absolutely does sound like Billy Bob Thornton. Let me just play a clip for reference here. Bro, that's probably his dad.
Making enough money, I'm hanging out with my friends.
Well, at some point I shifted my thinking to, what am I actually interested in? And then maybe I can attract people rather than trying to always pursue them. Now, the pushback that I get on this one is usually, well, gee, those don't pay the bills. Like, how am I going to get paid when I'm just doing stuff for myself all the time? And that's valid. You absolutely will not get paid by making your own projects. At first. Eventually, as you build a following through pursuing the things that you actually want to pursue and have curiosity in, and getting better at those things, they might pay the bills. It is still possible. And I can almost promise that they will open up opportunities that you may not even know exist when you first set out to make those projects.
Well, to be fair, a lot of people copy people until they kind of learn how to do their own style. You know, a lot of people imitate at first. Some people never grow out of that imitation phase either, though.
Make it easy to create. This is preaching to the choir, because I have a tendency, as you may notice, to really like music tech and music gear. And that has created this sort of ongoing pursuit of the perfect setup.
I don't know, man. Compared to this is rookie numbers, bro. This is rookie numbers compared to some people.
Quality is still more important than quantity. However, it takes quantity to get to quality. This goes back to my previous point about putting what you learn into practice and iterating.
I don't know. The quantity-quality argument is very tired. I mean, the quality versus quantity thing, I don't know. I think people have different methods. Some people just focus purely on quality. Like, I mean, it's probably kind of a weird example, but Billie Eilish, I feel like, has really done that. Kendrick Lamar has really done that. And some people have focused on quantity, and it's worked for them. Like, Busy, that's a great example. Purely quantity, you know, absolutely no quality. And he's never gotten better. I almost feel like quality is kind of better than quantity. But that doesn't mean, like, there's like a balance, you know? Because if you just start with your first project and try to make it perfect, that's probably not the route to go. But you need to make a moderate amount to like get to the point where you could make something good. So it involves some form of quality, but then some form of quantity, but then also you have to realize when to like try to make things better. So I think there's no quantity versus quality argument. It's just like a balance between the two. Some people lean more in one direction than the other. Yeah, that's true. You have to make enough to stay relevant in the algorithm, but it also has to be good enough to be pushed by, or to be enjoyed by people, to get pushed in some sort of algorithm. I just think there's a balance to it. I don't think it's simply one or the other. But although I will say this, you can see results focusing on one or the other too. There's no like completely right answer.
Piano professors once said to me something along the lines of, everyone who's really good at a certain thing had a period of time in their life where they did that thing a lot of times, like to the point where it would bore most normal people. They just got obsessed with that thing, like maybe it's scales and arpeggios, so that they could develop their technique to a new level at the piano. They were obsessed about that for a specific period of time. This goes way beyond just practicing scales and learning your scale fingerings, and really applies to any new skill. You're probably going to suck at it when you first start. I know that's certainly been the case with everything that I've ever started, and I don't like sucking at things.
I never understood how some producers make 2 or 3 beats a day. There's no way you're making something high quality in that short amount of time. I guess they consider a 4-bar loop a track. Well, a beat is not a track, so that's part of it. But you know, I mean, for me, there's like a sense of warming up too. Like I'll make some bullshit sometimes before making something decent. You know, sometimes I'll just jump straight into making something decent, but sometimes I'll make some bullshit first. So I don't know if that counts as like the beats you're making a day. I put out a song a week for 3 years. I was doing that for a long time too. I've kind of fallen back on that recently, over the past year or two, as I've focused more on YouTube. I am still doing music, just not as often, because it's just not paying the bills as much. It's kind of harder to predict the revenue from music.
So I get obsessed about how can I learn that and get not sucking at it as quickly as possible. The more reps you put in, the less you will suck at it. Because of music technology,
that is true.
Making music with computers, you may not need music theory anymore, but it sure can be useful.
I don't need music theory. I got Ableton. Want to become a YouTuber now? No, you don't. No, you don't. Trust me. It's actually kind of a lot of work. It's not harder than a regular job, but for instance, the video I just posted, right before I streamed, that took me like 10 hours to edit. It took me like 10 hours to edit, and that's because it was like a 20-minute video. I mean, it was like the original start of it was like 50 minutes, and I edited it down to 20 minutes.
Knowing basic grammar and how to put a sentence together helps me write my newsletters and these videos. Learning some fundamental basics about harmony and, chord names, intervals, things like that, really helped me writing music. Now, one of my pet peeves and one of the things that I don't find super helpful is analyzing and naming and assigning names to every single chord and trying to figure out how they function within a piece of music. That can be helpful in some cases, but I find when I'm writing music,
So he's talking about himself specifically, but I think everyone's kind of different with this sort of thing. Some people are more analytical and prefer to analyze what works in terms of theory, and some people just go purely based off feeling, and some people are like in between. I've known people that are like insane with like music theory, but they have the hardest time writing a piece of music. And I think it's because they know so much that it's hard to be creative anymore when you're constantly being objective.
I'm not really using that analytical part of my brain as much as I have a knowledge base of theory knowledge that helps me when I get stuck. Just knowing a few different chord voicings is more important than knowing the exact name of that chord. That's why when people correct me in a video saying, oh, you called this chord an A add 2 minor 7th chord or whatever, I simply don't respond because I just don't care.
I feel that, bro. I feel that. Busy's an OG grifter. True. He's an OG copyright striker. That's what he is.
Talking about, it's not going to destroy your creativity. I think getting into that analytical mind can get you stuck and get you...
No, I think it can actually destroy your creativity. I don't think it does for everyone, but I've seen some people that are so theory cracked out in the head that it's hard for them to do anything creative anymore, because it's like, I don't know. It's like there's an answer for everything. And then because of that, everything just becomes like, there's no wonder anymore. There's no mystery. I've seen people like this before, though. Not like him. Like people that are just like so theory overloaded that they no longer can function creatively. And I'm not saying it does that to everyone, but there are people like that. And I just think there's like you just gotta like, just do what works for you, man. I don't know. If you end up in that kind of mind space, though, I also think like getting high or something may actually be beneficial. Like you gotta like do something to fry your brain a bit.
I think getting into that analytical mind can get you stuck and get you a little bit of analysis paralysis.
Okay. That is what he was saying. Okay. Did a little pause, Andy, there.
But networking is overrated. Do interesting stuff consistently for a long enough period of time and you'll find...
Okay. Well, networking, I don't know. Networking is pretty important in music, I think. Like, I wish it wasn't, but I don't know. Just like having good music is not enough.
Find that people start coming to you. And the beauty of it is they come to you for the things that you already like doing. So the chances of someone coming to me and trying to get me to write a Hans Zimmer score or sound like John Williams, fairly low, because that's not the kind of music that I make. But the chances are high that if they do come to me for a project, it's gonna be the kind of music that I want to be making, because I have a catalog of work showing that that's what I do, and I'm good at that. And I found that there's really nothing more satisfying to me than making my...
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to play live, you have to network. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, that's one reason, like, I used to do shows in Hawaii, but I stopped because I didn't really want to suck the promoter's dick anymore. You know, I let somebody else do it. That was really the only way. You know, you have to get down on that thing, and then and then if you don't, then you're not going to be playing shows. Because there's only like a handful of promoters and like one or two per genre that are like throwing shows there on Oahu. It's probably a bit easier on the mainland. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a big, like another thing too, like you can actually just throw the shows yourself if you have money. So that's another way to go about it. Then you don't need to fucking suck anyone's dick. You can suck your own dick. Okay, yeah, me and Tom are thinking alike right now.
My own projects and working on those, because it does three things simultaneously. It proves that I can finish.
Have you heard this guy's music before, allowing him to enter your mind with his 17 chat GPT things? I mean, the thing is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what his music sounds like. I just listen to what he's saying and then form my own opinion based off of it. You know, I don't think that really matters. The thing is, it's different if you don't know shit about music. If you don't know shit about music and you're listening to someone like this and you can't really form your own opinion on what he's saying, then it's kind of like, okay, I don't know. But if you actually have some experience already, then you can kind of just determine if what he's saying is bullshit or not already. I don't think the music is really important.
And it builds that body of work, which will serve as proof that, hey, look, I can do this. And that's what has kind of led me to transition from wanting to chase film scoring and realizing that I really just like making albums, making music, making my own projects, and constantly discovering what my voice is.
I don't really understand people who like are passionate about like scoring films. I guess like it's kind of cool when you're like syncing up the music to the film. But the thing is, a lot of the music is so similar, you know? Like it feels like passionless at a certain point. The thing is it could be creative, but it's just always like, okay, strings, we're doing some strings, build some tension, release the tension. You know what I mean? Do an impact here. I don't know. It's like, the thing is like, you can actually be very creative when it comes to scoring for films, but people aren't usually. It's like the same sort of instruments, same sort of compositions. White Lotus though, I only saw the first 2 seasons. I can't remember anything about it. But there are films with good or with more creative music in them. Like, I think more films should actually use synthesizers. Like, we need more of that and less strings. I'm so sick of hearing strings in movies and TV shows. Yeah, sometimes watch movies and off the sound and score them. That's true. Like, for instance, like, you know the anime Bleach? This is kind of random, but the Bleach anime, the anime itself is kind of watered down, but the music in it is so fucking good and creative that it makes me like it a lot more.
Your voice, we find our own sound by imitating or failing to imitate our heroes. This comes from my composition teacher, Luigi Zaninelli. He said something along the lines of, in failing to imitate the people and the things that we admire the most, we discover what our own voice is, because we're constantly making adjustments to those things that we like, and we're adding our own taste onto it, and we're compiling other things that we like into one weird, unique experience for the listener. And I don't think unique is the same thing as original. I don't really think originality exists, because everything is kind of standing on the shoulders of what came before it.
That's a good point. I think there's only like so much originality you can have with anything, especially at this point. I mean, I guess like there probably were more original people at one point, but at this point, there's not a lot of originality left to be had. Like at most, you can blend things, and that's somewhat, it's innovative. You can be innovative
when it comes to art. But you can be unique and find your own unique voice by blending the weird things that you like together. This is a short one, and it's simply give yourself more time. I know there's a constant rush and pressure on social media
Worthwhile things take
that
longer.
we need to constantly be releasing a TikTok like every 36 minutes or something. And when you start to get bored or feel a little antsy, just occupy yourself with practice. Chase your curiosity and what has you obsessed. Success is continuing to do what you love even after it becomes difficult.
Resistance.
There will come a time when the difficulty of what you love to do overtakes your initial love of it. This is exactly where most people stop. But if you can push through that, the rewards of pushing through that compound over
Bro,
time.
I would spit on the peace treaty, set it on fire, and wipe my ass with it in that order.
And this is what separates you from the people that you'll run into in the doctor's office waiting room who find out you play piano and they're like, oh, I took piano for like 7 years and I wish I had stuck it out and, actually practiced. Don't be that person. They're going to have to live with those regrets forever. And the cost of regret is a lot higher at the end of your life than the pain of discipline while you're trying to push through the initial difficulty.
True.
Learn from older things. You'll sound more innovative and fresh. It's counterintuitive,
because they won't fucking know about it.
but it's
This guy's saying nothing at all. It still says more than Venus theory, I think.
true. There's this principle called the Lindy effect.
Yeah, I'm kinda-
It states
I'm kinda
that
about
the
tapped
longer
out on it.
something